Hey Brian, how are you?
Hey George, I'm doing good. Glad to be back.
Yeah, Sunday number two.
That's right.
Yeah,
Today we're going to
okay.
be setting up our database and getting some of the gems that we'll need for testing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I think that the first thing, at the first moment, I have I create a file here, call it dir. It's an entity diagram relationship that I want to show you to discuss something about the model the models that we are thinking in this project, right?
Yeah.
So, first of all, I think we have these accounting types,
Well,
right?
before we start, could you make this text just a little bit bigger
Yeah, no problem.
for me? That's better right there. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, so much. I think that, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, I think in account types. So the account type is have ID and a name, right? And of course, we have the accounts itself. For
Yep.
example,
Is
we
the
have,
type
yeah, bills is the table, right?
Yeah, is the types table, is that kind of like a role, like where we'll be defining admin versus standard users?
No, I just thinking about only uh the functionality of the app, right? Because after all, we are creating an entity called the user and relate created relationship with the user to all these tables, right? To separate each one what it data is from each user, right? I just thinking about uh, the main models independently of the user, right? It's just the
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah,
So
just the functionality, right?
I hear you. I hear you. So we will eventually add a users table, and it's going to be possible that multiple users will have access to one.
Yeah. The plan is okay. After some point of this project, we okay. I think that's right. We can turn this app into a SaaS, for example, right?
Mhm.
And posting, publishing, and all the guys that are listening now the channel can see this evaluation of this project, right?
I hear you.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. And so we have transactions, um, and we have here categories. So the idea of this account type is, for example, I have account type uh, for example, my salary, right? And I have another account type, for example, for housekeeping, right? So, or not, I think that the planning, okay, the account type is something like, okay, credit or debit, right? It's a liability or something that you can, something that you are positive for account and something that negative for the account, right?
Okay.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
that
So
makes
for
sense.
yeah, so for example, or something like that. And of course, we have accounts. We have each user have can be having multiple accounts. For example, one account for the banking, one account for the savings, one account for the um, uh, retirement plans, you know, uh, stuff like that. So we have the name, we have the amount and the balance, right? Uh, Maybe this balance here we can put in the a satellite table called account balances and just keep this balance property in the secondary table, right?
Well, I
Because
wonder what's the difference between amount and balance?
I think that amount is the when you start recording the accounts, how amount do you have? For example, if you starting control your wallet, right? How much your wallet you have on the first date? Oh, I have, for example, signed $100, right?
Sure.
So this is the amount. How is the amount of the account that you have when you starting uh, tracking the records? Because we're tracking the records about in the transactions, right? So each transaction has a category. So each category is a category. For example, you say, okay, I use it for food, for groceries, or for uh, medical medical payments and another thing. So this is the categories, right? It's
Sure.
open optional or not, but you have a transaction type. For example, this transaction type here is something that okay is something that you are increasing the balance of account or decreasing a balance of account, right? So I think this is the transaction type.
I hear you. I
Yeah,
wonder if we could change this a bit because my my suggestion is I feel like amount and balance on the account table are kind of the same thing.
yeah,
Uh, so I wonder if we keep balance on the accounts table and that represents the amount of money that is in the account.
yeah,
And what I would like to see is I'd actually like to see the amount column on the transactions table because right now I don't see any way to
yeah. The
to
value.
show how much the transaction is for, right?
Yeah, right. You're right.
So, so we'll have a transaction amount, and that amount is going to affect the balance of the accounts table
Yeah,
whenever a transaction is executed.
yeah. Okay, so you're saying that okay, I remove this field right here,
Yeah.
and
And
okay,
then we can probably replace transaction type. That can now be amount because a popular thing in when handling transactions is you'll just use a positive or a negative balance to represent adding or removing money.
yeah,
So I'm thinking instead of transaction type to define adding or removing money, we could just use the amount column. And then when we're adding money, amount is positive. When we're removing money, amount is negative.
yeah, yeah. That's right. So I think that we can remove this field here.
Yeah, we probably don't need transaction type
Yeah,
just to keep things as clean as we can.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. That this is this is the process. This is the way that we're building something, and that's the you want to show for everyone, okay, this is the process to build it something, just not sitting in the table, put the hands on the keyboard and starting coding. It's not like that. It's something that you need
A lot
to,
of Yeah, a lot of development is just um, coming up with ideas like this and brainstorming.
yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right. So that's the idea. So that's a good way to start it thinking, not just okay, I because it's very easy to okay, look into the Rails, create the models, blah, blah, and do all the stuff, but okay, do you think about it? Do you really think about it? The, this is the idea, right?
Better to iron this stuff out before starting programming and then having to do some hard refactors later.
Yeah, because each refactor is something that you for me, it's something that each refactor that you do is something that, okay, you don't think very well at the first time.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I think so far this looks good. Just to confirm with you, the bills table, that is kind of like a midpoint between a transaction happening in an account, right? So a bill is like where people would go to see what transactions they need to create, right?
I think the bills is something like a reminder. Okay, for example, I think this in this table we need something new new attributes here because I like to think the bills like a calendar for the bills that you arrive in your life. For example, I know that the uh, each each day 10 for each month I have to pay my rent, for example. So it's something that I can pinpoint in my calendar or something that I can pinpoint in the in the system, right? And with that we can, for example, okay, how will my cash flow in 30 days ahead, for example. Do you think
Mhm. Okay,
like
yeah. And
like
so that's when we would reach into the bills table and say, oh, in the next 30 days, you have five.
yeah, so I have here we have something. Okay, we have the due date, for example, each the 10 day that day 10, for example. But I think that here we need something related with the kind of the bill. For example, it's a bill that occurs once or occurs each every month or each every week or
Mhm.
each, you know,
Yeah, we could call it what would we call it? Like occurrence or
occurrence.
maybe period.
Yeah,
I think just occurrence ending with an E.
yeah. And for example, okay, we have due date. For example, for example, something that I think, okay, I recall, I say that each 10, 10 day, day 10 for the December, we have $100 to pay, right?
Mhm.
So, but the system can, for example, okay, create okay a record for 10 Jan 2025, uh, something like that, right? They can, okay, the next occurrence will be in the 10 January, right? Uh, but for example, okay, this month I don't need it to pay this. I can skip the occurrence, right? But I can keep tracking the next occurrence or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's something feature that we are need to thinking more before create this model. But I think that we have a good start.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's change that occurrency column. Replace that Y with an E, please. Just a little typo. Just an E. Occurrence is the word.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Um, yeah, so that's just how often is this occurring?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. See why they say that is not recorded.
Oh, it needs the spelling is off just a little bit. Hang on. Come back to the meeting here. It's
Ah,
spelled with two R's and two
yeah.
C.
Here.
There we go.
Yeah. Sorry, but for my misspelling.
No,
You know, English is not my native language. I try.
exactly. Yeah.
I try. Yeah. Okay. I think that it's a good start on the entity relationship on the model on the database, right? And I think the next step is put the database server in this project to work, right?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, we'll want to create the database, and then we'll of course want to link that database to the Rails app in the YAML file.
Yeah. All
Um,
this stuff.
And I believe you mentioned we're going to be using Docker, right? We're going to create a container that holds
Yeah,
our
yeah, I think that because it be for example if it, on the next Sunday we can start typing the code or start do these things and I we change the rules on the this meeting, right? And it be more easily if you have Docker to start a database server, because if you not, you have to create starting a database server, do all the manual stuff, you know?
I hear you. Like starting the service through the
Yeah,
terminal.
yeah, turn on. So we have to each every service that we need, okay, we need to install these things. It's not good in terms of the development. So I think that we are using Docker containers, we are have a more seamlessly process. So okay, just grab the Docker, run Docker Compose, and start coding.
Yep, I totally agree. I
Yeah,
totally, because I do have even not even just in the context of Postgres, but lots of other
yeah,
software that we use for development. Like
yeah.
in our work projects, we're using Node,
Elasticsearch.
certain Node versions, certain Elasticsearch versions.
Yeah,
It would be difficult trying to keep track of all that on our local machines,
yeah,
so I totally agree. Just creating a Docker container with all those dependencies that we need sounds
yeah.
like a beautiful solution.
Okay. Okay, I will not show how to stuff Docker. I think that it's just you can anyone that's watching the video can search in the YouTube, see how to install Docker in my local machine, right? So there are a lot of the video stuff related to that. So okay, let me spend. Okay, I think that's the uh you can see very well, right, Brent?
Yep. Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, so I will enter in the uh, Wally, Wally Rails, right? So they say that, okay, we have a just like the DDR, right? Or the entity relationship diagram that we are discussing. And now I think that uh, first of all, we need to, I have here uh, Docker in my machine, right? So, and with that, we have Docker Compose, right? So for create a Docker container with Rails, we need to create a Docker Compose file. So I will start and create Docker Compose YML, right? Okay. In this Docker Compose, we have two things: services and volumes, right? One volume is for the database file related to the service database, right? So the first service that we have in these containers, we call it database.
Yeah.
No problem. With that, we have here we are using an image, right? An image from the Docker that we grabs from the Docker Hub, right? So uh, uh, let me
We'll
clarify.
want to grab a Postgres image, I assume.
Yeah, uh, I think that we can just Docker, Docker, oh, Hub. Yeah. So
On
in
Zoom calls, everybody forgets how to type. I totally understand.
yeah, yeah. So Docker Hub, we can search for Postgres.
Yeah, and we'll probably want to use the most recent one, whatever LTE.
Yeah. So here are Postgres images and okay, maintain it. Okay, the last version it's 17 Alpine, right?
Yep.
So uh, with that we call it uh, Postgres, the name of image, and it's 17 Alpine. We have a file that we create using the .env file and the ports, what ports that we want to share. For example, in the local server is 5432, and okay, we can keep in 5432 ports.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Um, I think that's image, environment, ports. What maybe I'm missing something. Let me check here in my notes, right? Um, let me check here my notes if I'm missing something. I think that I'm missing something. Let's check here. Just one moment. Okay. I think that, okay, yeah, we are missing something very important here is the volumes. Or what volumes that we are using. So we are using the DB data, uh, using the DB data, right? Yeah, DB data. We are pointing DB data to var lib Postgres SQL data. Why they do that? For example, if you are starting the Docker container and we don't use the volumes right here in this this property in the Docker Compose, each time that we stop the container and restart the container, we will lose the data. So that's why you keep in the data the data of the server and the onto the DB data, right? To
That is very important.
yeah,
Glad you caught
because
that.
yeah, because thinking about it, okay, you're starting working every day in the entire day, and tomorrow when you started running the service, okay, you need to run all the database, create all the data, all the migrations, all the seeds again. It's not fair.
No, that's not ideal.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's not ideal. So I
That's
think
going to
that
be saved in our DB data volume then, if I'm understanding this correctly.
the data. What is the name, please?
I think that's it, yeah. DB data.
The data. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, I don't need to work here because we're not working. We use in the when the when and okay, I think that that's it. Um, and I think that we need to create a new file here. On env file. No, here, env file. What is this env file will be contained? They will be contain the keys from the server, right?
So we probably want to make sure .env is in our git ignore file then, right?
Yeah,
These are, these are going to be secrets.
yeah, isso aí. That's it. Postgres password, um, Postgres, no problem. And database URL. So URL from local, it's Postgres dash dash database.
Um, I think you need an equal sign, right? Instead of
Yeah, instead,
a database URL.
yeah.
And some people might ask, and I wonder too, why do we have Postgres user and Postgres password just set to a simple string instead of creating our own secure username and password?
Uh, it's a good question. I think that's more easily when you are working the local development, right? Postgres and Postgres, right? But I think that in production, of course, we need to create for example, a user call it, um,
It would probably be something like Wally main or something
yeah,
like.
something like that, Wally, right? And something like
In the password, we would
uh,
actually
password
create.
1245, that dollar sign, something like that, right?
I hear you. So because this database is just going to be for development for now.
Yeah, it's not in
Okay.
production, right? Just for the Docker container for the local environment, right? So when when you publish this, probably we have created a new file call it env dot production, right? Right. So with this dot env production, we use the correct secrets for the production server, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Normally here, Postgres for local environment, it's okay, but you can use PG for example, or something like that. No problem.
I've even seen like admin and admin before as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it doesn't matter because when the container starts, one thing that you need to do if you change the user on local environment to, for example, admin, right? You need to go to the run some run uh, database tool, right, to connect to the server and put this user as super user in the Postgres server, right?
I hear you.
So even development, you need to okay, need to connect to using the Beaver or something, or the other tool. Go to the server settings and say put this user admin as a super user, right? Uh, I think that's with the people in the local environment just using Postgres because the Postgres user is already a super user.
Nice. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. What?
Oop, Vim is mad at you.
Yeah, Vim is not. No, save it. Okay, save it. Uh, okay, Docker ML. Okay, it's okay, and okay. I think that's it. And see what is happening right now. So I create a list, call it TC. Sorry,
Is
sorry,
that
Gabriel. To Docker Compose comment. Uh, but I create alias called it DC up. Oh, Docker compose up.
oh, got an extra
Oh,
N.
maybe. I don't know. Let me see. Uh, let's see.
Well, the
Let
last one was just a typo.
compose.
There we go.
No configuration provided. File not found.
Let's run Docker Compose help. We might need to specifically tell it where the file is.
Uh, Docker multiple content, attach services, build,
Big.
big, maybe. Docker compose.exe.
Oh, there's a typo on the .yml file. See, it has an
Yeah,
extra N.
yeah, yeah,
We
you're right.
just have to rename that file.
Yeah, so yeah, see, and rename here to Docker compose.
There we go. And now let's try that DC up again, see what happens.
Yeah, nope,
Not open file. Oh, DC might be a,
alias.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, Docker compose up services.env must be a mapping. Maybe Docker compose. Huh.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, we got the N there.
yeah,
There we go.
env dash.
Must be mapping.
Yeah.
Oh, so they want us to put the actual N values in here?
No, I think that is not my notes here. I think that the video will be finished soon.
Yeah, we
Uh,
have 8 minutes left.
yeah, I think that oh, it's not env, it's env file. Docker compose. Up services volumes must be a mapping. Uh, mm,
So it's probably, yeah, probably similar.
yeah, there's no this. Uh,
Wait, but there should be a value there then, right?
no,
After the,
you see, oh, here, okay. Uh, add volumes dash dash to the data var lib postgres scale data volumes. Volumes dash volume, yeah, string, but yeah, strange. Oh, space here. Services dot m file must be a mapping. It's not. Oh man, I don't know what's happened here.
looking it up here.
Yeah, let me question.
Um, Services, and
Okay.
then could you
Error.
share that file again?
Yeah. Uh, the problem is looks like is the problem in your ML structure. You might be missing space before a dash, and I think that
I think I think we need N file to be under the database tag, it looks like, because this example that I'm seeing, if I could share my screen really quick, but this example that I'm seeing from the Docker website, they have services, and then under services, they have web app, and then under web app, that's when they define N file. So I think N file might need to be indented more so that we're telling it to use this file for that database service.
yeah. Let me see what what I can do here. Version. Oh, I know is about this. No.
Yeah, try indenting lines 4 through I think lines 4 and 5 need to be indented one more. And maybe the ports and volumes too. I'm not as experienced with
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
databases
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's something about the indentation.
Yeah, because we're giving it this information for the database.
Yeah. Okay.
There
You're
we go.
yeah, here we go. Indentation. Uh,
Well, it was a
okay.
little hiccup, but it happens.
Yeah, it happens. Uh, maybe this meeting we finish it soon. We have 20 seconds. So that's
Oh,
it.
it says 2 minutes for me, 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
For me, just yeah, 2 minutes. Okay, but it's working. Uh, let me see if I have the Beaver here installed. Beaver, no, but it's very quickly. Just Control S. Great. So, yeah, Beaver in. Um, simple. Come on. But it's working, so we have accepted connections right here. It's a good sign.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So instead, I can do here. Event personal. No. Wally Rails. And here in the config, we just set up the uh, user to Postgres, password, Postgres.
Should we add this under the development section or
Yeah, can be.
in production it might be different.
Yeah, all right. So you can use this.
And then if there's a test section, we'll want to add this to the test section as well.
Yeah. So host, local host. That's the magic of the Docker and port 432. And we can copy these lines, banking,
Test as well.
and test as well. So that's right. And if it is okay, uh, just Rails DB great.
Let's see as a final test for the video.
Yeah.